After more than 500 days of captivity in Iran, 544. The Washington Post, Jason Rezaian, had a shocking piece of mail waiting for him when he returned home. A large bill from the IRS, back taxes, interest, and penalties. He was held hostage. He appealed, but was told the IRS didn't have any exemptions for those wrongfully imprisoned overseas. Jason Rezaian is a global opinion writer for The Post. Joins us now. Jason, nice to meet you. Great to see you. This is what there's like things in life which we'll never understand. This is one of them. You got back and the IRS was like, you owe thousands in fees.
Yeah.
Like, you're laughing. What went through your mind? I'm sure it wasn't funny
look,
then.
It was funny because it was so absurd.
Right.
You come back from being held hostage, being put through a mock trial, told that you're going to be executed. The U.S. government mobilizes all its resources to free you. Thousands of government worker hours are put into this, millions of dollars in legal bills and everything else. And then you come home and there's a bill for you, a personalized one,
right.
that you owe money for taxes that you were unable to pay.
You had to fight. You fought this hard.
Yeah, I fought this hard, and I had the best advocates in the world: National Security Advisor, 2 hostage envoys from the State Department intervened on my behalf. Even at one point, Secretary of the Treasury Mnuchin told National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien at the time that we want to take care of this.
Right.
But when we got to the people at the IRS who handle these things, to say, look, we will get these down as much as we can, but there are a certain amount of interest that we can just not undo.
Crazy. We've asked the IRS about this. They couldn't comment. They said for a couple different reasons. The Stop Tax Penalties on American Hostages Act was introduced today, bipartisan. It's basically to try to avoid this. Tell us about it.
So, I had a conversation with Senator Coons a couple years ago where I brought this up about all the different things that former hostages go through when they return. And when I started explaining this, he stopped me. He said, wait a minute. Tell me more about this. And, we took about 10 minutes to kind of walk through everything that I've been through. And he said, this is going to be the next piece of bipartisan legislation I introduce. No American should have to go through this. No American should be wrongfully detained or held hostage. But when they come home, they need to be treated with respect and care. And the situation needs to be made easy for them. That's never the case. Each one of us that comes home has to deal with this. And I'll say, there's nothing in it for me because part of the...
Right.
Part of the deal is that it's not retroactive. It doesn't apply to people who went through this before, but that's fine. I don't want anybody else to have to go through it again.
I'm sure.
So, I want to ask about Evan Gershowitz.
Sure.
And you came home. He's still in Russia. What do you think of how the Wall Street Journal is handling it, and what do you think about how the Biden administration is handling it?
I think that the Wall Street Journal is doing an incredible job. I've said from the get-go, publicly and privately, that the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal were competitors, but on this issue, we're family. Whatever we can do at the Post to support efforts to bring Evan home, we're doing it from publisher on down to people in the communications department and myself. I spend a lot of time each week talking with friends and colleagues who work at the Journal. They're very receptive, and they're learning from the hard experience that the Washington Post had. I think the Biden administration is in a tough spot. I will say that over the last 28 months or so that they've been in office, they've brought more than 28 people home from around the world. That tells you 2 things. That tells you that they are committed to this issue, but it also tells you the number of Americans wrongfully detained is skyrocketing. So it's a problem that I think that they're dealing with in earnest. President Biden, about a year ago, called a national emergency around hostage taking. You don't do that just for the heck of it, right? This is a problem that people in government recognize is getting worse and worse. And my hypothesis is if we don't stop it now, we don't learn how to deter it, it's going to spiral out of control. Hundreds of Americans could potentially be taken hostage by governments around the world. And at that point, what kind of resources are we going to marshal and what kind of appetite are we going to have to address these cases? Evan, myself, Brittany Griner, we're high-profile people, but there are dozens of other Americans who are lesser known who are just languishing in other countries.
Jason Rezaian, great to have you in. Great to talk to you. Not sure I want to be your accountant.
I know.
We talk about it now. It's absolutely wild. Can't believe you had to go through it, but glad the legislation is
just pass the bill. That's all that matters.
Thank you, Rezaian. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.